In this video, we've got a full in-depth comparison for you between the Sony 70-200 f4 and the Sony 70-300 f4.5 to 5.6, breaking down everything that you're going to need to know to figure out which one's going to be best for you. Let's get started. Welcome guys, and we're diving right into our comparison between the Sony 70-200 f4 and the 70-350 f4.5 to 5.6. We got a lot to cover. Here's some specs to get you going. And guys, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, I do a lot of photography and filmmaking news reviews and tutorials. So if you do enjoy this type of content and you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, become part of the community. Anyways, let's dive right into the first part of our comparison, which is size. So when it comes to size, both of these lenses are great for what they are. The 70-200 comes in at about 7 inches, where the 70-300 is about 5 3/4. However, the 70-200 is an eternally focusing and zooming lens, where the 70-300 is not. With both lens hoods installed and the 70-300 completely zoomed, they're about the same size. They're also very close when it comes to weight, being just shy of 2 pounds each. Of course, there's give and take with all lenses. We have a constant aperture versus a variable, and one has a lot more reach, but for what they are, I think they're both a great size. Now let's have a look at the build and features of these two. Both are going to come with your typical Sony basics. Along with the lens, you get some paperwork, a carrying pouch, and a lens hood. Both are G-series lenses, which means there's lots of quality in both. For me, the feel and the overall materials are just a little bit better in the 70-200 f4, but the longer reaching 70-300 is no slouch either. Both lenses zoom and focus rings turn smoothly and confidently, and both have a relatively short throw for easy target acquisition. They both share most of the bells and whistles, including an automatic manual focus switch, a focus limiting switch, as well as image stabilization, but the 70-200 also has a mode selector switch, which is going to be great for panning shots. The 70-300 has a lock switch, where the 70-200 does not. They both have 72mm filter threads in common, as well as Sony's patented AR nano coating, which helps with ghosting and flare. On the back of both you'll find sturdy metal mounts, but for some reason Sony's opted to exclude a little rubber gasket for weather sealing, which baffles me because these are outdoor, sports and wildlife lenses. It's also worth mentioning that if you do like your customizable focus hold buttons, they both have them, but the 70-200 has 3 opposed to the 70-300's 1. One major difference between these two lenses that I mentioned earlier is that the 70-300 is an externally focusing lens. It does appear to have a multi-piece extension tube, which does make me a little bit concerned in the longevity when it comes to dust and moisture resistance. Both lenses all around have a great build, with just a few sacrifices, but for me, the 70-200 has a bit of an advantage. Now let's check out the differences when it comes to performance. We'll start with the 70-300. First, let's look at autofocus. Now when it comes to video, this thing is not that impressive, but most likely you're not going to be doing any major productions with this thing. It's more of a stills lens. For video, I did find it hunting quite a bit, but the overall autofocus speed is quite impressive and it's almost silent. Now being an older lens, unfortunately it doesn't utilize Sony's newest linear focus motors, but when it comes to stills, it keeps up quite nicely. Now for the most part, this lens is going to be absolutely adequate for the average shooter, and it's going to handle most of what you throw at it. However, when you do get into lower light, it does struggle a little bit. Here's a look at how the 70-200 performs. When it comes to video, I have to say in my experience, it's quite a bit faster and more reliable. And this is kind of true for both video and stills. It just has a bit more confidence when it comes to autofocus. And by no means am I saying that the 70-300 isn't capable, but usually when you pick up a 70-200, its performance is just a bit more polished. Here's a few examples of some photos that I took with the 70-200, and I'm not going to get into a detailed sharpness or optics comparison between these two. If you are interested in a more in-depth review of either, check out my full in-depth review of each. I will tell you that hands down the 70-200 f4 is the sharper lens, no doubt, and it does have better bokeh, being of course a constant f4. In the end, keep in mind that the 70-300 does have 50% more reach, more glass, and therefore is going to be harder to maintain that quality. Here's the difference in focal length between the two. Here's 70mm, and this is what 70mm or 105mm equivalent would look like on an APS-C camera or in Super 35 mode. And here's the difference between 200mm and 300mm. Quite a difference. This will probably be one of the main deciding factors for you when choosing one of these lenses. Do you need the extra reach, or is the autofocus speed and constant aperture more important? I'll also mention that human and animal eye autofocus work great on both of these lenses. Another shared feature is image stabilization, and here's how they perform on both. Here's the 70-200 at 200mm handheld, and as you can see, it does make quite a dramatic difference. And here's the 70-300 in action, zoomed all the way into 300 handheld. And here it is at 70mm. A great feature always welcomed on any lens. Looking at the performance as a whole between these two, they're really not fair to compare in a lot of ways, but I have to say the edge does go to the 70-200 when it comes to most things. Let's talk value for a second. Both of these lenses are quite expensive for what they are in this day and age. The 70-300 comes in at around 1,300 American dollars, where the 70-200 comes in at 1,500 American dollars. In this day and age, with new lenses coming out, like the newer Tamron 70-180 and the Sigma 100-400, there are some cheaper options out there. Of course, there's bigger, heavier, and more expensive options like the 70-200 G Master, the 200-600, and the 100-400 G Master. And with more things coming out all the time, these two lenses are stuck somewhere right in the middle. Now, I personally like and can recommend both of these lenses to you, but again, at this point with all these new releases and things becoming available to us, I honestly can't see a heck of a lot of value with either of these two lenses at full price. Picking them up on sale or second hand, however, might be a different story. So wrapping up, guys, in the end, both of these lenses are going to serve you well. You're just going to have to decide which is going to serve your shooting style better. Do you want ultimate sharpness? Are you a pixel peeper? Well, consider the 70-200. If you're looking for a little bit more all-around lens with some more reach, look at the 70-300. Either way, you're not really going to go wrong. As always, here's my personal pros and cons for these two lenses. And that's going to be it, guys. That's my comparison for you between the 70-200 and the 70-350. I hope you found it helpful and I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more just like it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Drop all your questions and your comments down below. I'll leave affiliate links if you want to pick any of these lenses up as well. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.